Game Time with Boomer Esiason. This week's guest is the Colts' first-team All-Pro linebacker, Darius Leonard.
Our guest today is more than an All-Pro linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts. He's proof that the American dream is alive and well. Now, not only does he excel at reading keys as the Colts captain on defense, he's already received the key to the city of a small southern town where he grew up. It is my pleasure to welcome Darius Leonard. Darius, welcome to Game Time.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love your nickname, the Maniac. That is like, it fits you perfect the way that you play on the football field. You're all over the place, and you're exactly what a linebacker should be playing like.
Yes, sir. I mean, I try to take it more so as, as a linebacker, you're supposed to touch the ball every single play, and in my mind, that's what I got to do each and every down, and that's why I play as hard as I do. I don't think I do my job unless I touch the ball each time.
By the way, you get the key to the city in Lakeview, South Carolina. Does that key open anything?
Nah, I wish it did. But it was actually great to kind of do that. Where it all started at, to go back and, to have the town, to celebrate me and all of my accomplishments. It really means a lot, especially coming from a small town and, having, that pedestal that I stand on now and having so many people who look up to me. And now I go back with the key to the city. Now I can go out and I can do more for the city, do more things in the community. So I definitely look forward to it.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to look at it there, Darius. It was interesting. The Colts went through an in-season Hard Knocks, and I loved it. I watched every one of the episodes. It told me a lot about your team, the way you guys handled things. Did you think it was good that you guys were on Hard Knocks during the season, or was it a distraction from your standpoint?
I loved it. I think that it showed who we were as a team and as an organization of how we, go about things and try to do it the right way. And, when we talk about players, showing that, we're more than football players. We have families and stuff like that. And, for distraction, I don't think it was nowhere even close to a distraction because, you rarely saw anyone with a camera unless you was at practice. But in the meeting rooms and everything, the camera was on the wall. So it became second nature to you that, it was just another camera on the wall. So I don't think anything was a distraction. It was fun to kind of show, what we were about and who I was as a person and as a father and a husband.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved everything about it. So let's talk about the 2022 Colts as we get ready. Here in early April, you tweeted the following. Now, tweets stay up there, Darius, so I can see everything. You said, damn, I want to win, and I want to win now. I don't want not the next year or the year after, but right now. So who was that in your attended audience for that?
For everyone. Just let them know how big of a competitor I am. Every time I step on the field, I want to win. Each year that I play, I want to win a Super Bowl. And we as players, we got to understand that, this thing that we're playing is a very violent game. And, the average year is 3 years. And we got to understand that our career can be short, it could be long, but you got to understand and find a way to, if you want to win a Super Bowl, that's the ultimate goal. You got to do that now. And, I say it all the time. I talk to the coaches about it, and I let them know that, us as football players, we don't have 30 years as y'all have, as a coach. So as a player, we want to win. And that's the ultimate goal each and every year to, win a Super Bowl. And I have yet to come close to that. And for me to be the competitor I am, I got to make sure everybody around me understand what the one common goal is. That's a Super Bowl. And it can't be tomorrow. It got to be starting today. And that's just the mindset I wanted to give out, especially as a leader on the team and as a leader on the defense, to go ahead and have that marinating in the offseason while everyone is working and they understand why they're working instead of just going out and say, I got my lift in, I got my run in. Why are you lifting? Why are you running? And now that I say that, we want to win a Super Bowl, that's the reason why that you're doing it, and that's why I tweeted it when I did.
Well said, Darius. He's the Maniac, and we'll uncover his distinctive rural roots when Game Time continues right after this.
You're watching Game Time with Boomer Esiason.
Welcome back to Game Time. Darius Leonard grew up as one of 9 siblings raised by a single-parent mother under trying circumstances, to say the least, in Lakeview, South Carolina, population 800. Now, 2 of your brothers, Travis and Cody, were incarcerated when you were a young boy. Another, you consider your best friend, Kevonte, was killed in a nightclub. And yet another, Anthony Waters, was a third-round draft choice of the Chargers at linebacker. Darius, how did you sort all of this out as a kid?
Yeah, it was a lot. You know, I had to grow up quick. Like you said, my 2 older brothers, Travis and Cody, Travis went in 1997. So, you know, I was 2 years old, and Cody went, I think I was maybe 8, 9 years old. And, you know, just seeing that and, you know, seeing how people look towards us, towards the family. And, you know, once my brother, you know, made it to the NFL, you know, seeing the switch there. And then in 2012, me losing my brother, Kevonte, you know, my best friend, doing everything together. You know, it took a toll on me. I know that was the most hardest thing for me to ever have to go through. And I think it just built me to kind of understand that this world that we live in comes with a lot of ups and downs. You know, even at your highest, you know, the devil comes in so many shapes and sizes to try to break you down. And I always was taught, you know, just never give up and, you know, use everything that I've been through as motivation and use it more so to allow people to understand that, you know, what you've been through doesn't, you know, doesn't make you, don't put you in a category as that. You know, it makes you, you know, grind even harder. It makes you, like, for younger kids, for me, I think it's so, like, if Darius Leonard can go through all of this right here and still make it to the top, you know, I can do the same thing. And it was just that no quit mentality and was down to prove everybody wrong that, you know, I still can, you know, make it to the next level. Then, you know, I still got my brother. And, you know, me playing this game, and, you know, I'm playing it with a lot of passion because, you know, that is my happy place. This is my safe haven spot. You know, I'm not thinking about anything, you know, outside of the football field.
Now that you're a superstar athlete, you can touch so many people in so many ways. And you also said that your mom was always trying to protect you specifically. How so?
Well, you know, with her working all the time, you know, it was kind of hard for us to, you know, have that outside life, especially when we were staying far away from everyone else. So it was like, you know, we couldn't go outside until she got back home. And then whenever we moved back to Lakeview, you know, it's more so we only could go in these neighborhoods. We only can go anywhere together. We never could go anywhere by ourselves. And that was more so teaching us that you always got to have your brother and your sisters back and making sure that we was home before dark and stuff like that, and just making sure that we wasn't going to do the wrong thing, you know, making sure that we understand the consequences behind every action and understanding that we already have 2 brothers incarcerated and making sure that we don't go down that path. And, you know, I see my mama go through a lot. I see my mama lose both parents. I see my mama lose a brother. And, you know, I see her never fold. And that's been my mindset. And no matter how hard this life goes for me, how hard that, you know, this football thing go, you know, if my mama going through everything that she's been through, never hung her head and always finding a way to, you know, make ends meet or make sure that, you know, we was happy, then I can do the same thing right here, right now. And I think it's a blessing in disguise of me watching my mom go through everything that she's been through and seeing how strong she is. It built me. And, man, you made me want to make no excuses, want to find a way and be the one or be the cause for someone to smile or be the cause to help someone out that day.
That's great. More with Darius Leonard right after this.
You're watching Game Time with Boomer Esiason.
Darius Leonard dreamed of following in his brother Anthony's footsteps and playing big-time football at Clemson. As a Maryland guy, I'm glad he didn't go there. Ultimately, he ended up at South Carolina State, which may have proven to be a blessing all around. So why didn't Clemson work out, Darius?
Well, my 9th and 10th grade year in the classroom, you know, I wanted to be the class clown. I wanted just, you know, to do enough to get by, not even knowing, you know, the SAT, the GPA, and all that stuff. And, you know, it took to my 11th grade year, and the first recruit that ever came into the locker room was Robbie Caldwell from Clemson. And the first thing he said, man, you're one hell of an athlete, but your grades are not there. We want you to come to camp, and if you have a good camp, you know, we're going to offer you. So I thought I did enough at camp. The coaches loved me. And then I was just waiting for that offer. It never came, and they was like, okay, whenever you get this test score, we're going to give you an opportunity. My test scores came back, I think it was a day after signing day. And so I called everybody who, that said they was going to offer me. I told them that I met my score. I'm eligible to play. So everybody basically gave me the same thing. Well, we don't want you anymore. We don't have a scholarship for you. So I called South Carolina State, said, hey, I made my score. They were like, well, we got a partial scholarship for you. So I said, you know what, all I want is an opportunity. And I went to South Carolina State, and it been the best decision I ever made in my life. And I enjoyed every minute of South Carolina State, from not having the big facilities and, upscale facilities makes you want to go out and just work even harder. And I think that would kind of mold me to the man I am today, because I knew that I was at a disadvantage from Clemson athletes to South Carolina State athletes, and I had to work a little harder. And that's what I did, and it's been a blessing in disguise.
It's amazing. In 2016, I was reading that you had a chance to show Dabo Swinney what he could have had. And, of course, expected Clemson was going, they're going to pay you guys a lot of money to play you. You guys lost 59-0, but you had 19 tackles and a block kick and earning the nickname Maniac in that game. And, by the way, forcing Dabo Swinney to comment. I love this comment, by the way. I hate that we missed on you. What were you thinking during that game and Dabo's comment after the game?
I'm just going in the game. Of course, I'm about to prove these jokers that, I can play with their guys. And my whole mindset was, Clemson was like a second home to me. Like I said, my brother went there, and then my cousin went there right after. So for 8 years, I was in Death Valley. So just having the opportunity to play in Death Valley was big for me. And once the game started, it was like, okay, now I got a point to prove. I got a point to prove that, I can play at this high level. And once I did, it was crazy because, I was just playing the game to my best ability. And after the game, Coach Swinney walked up to me and he said what he said. And then, I was just thinking, we just lost 59-0, so I'm not even thinking about my stats or anything. And my coach come up to me and said, you had an interview. So I was like, okay. He was like, did you know what type of game you just had? So I was like, no, sir. He said, we just got you at 19 tackles. I was like, whoa, 19? I was like, man, it's a special spot to have it at. My whole family was there, so that was a great feeling there.
Yeah, but what I love, though, is that you didn't even know it because you lost and it was about the team first, And I know that you are a huge proponent of the HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions real quick and see if you can answer these. How many Pro Football Hall of Famers has the University of South Carolina produced?
Oh, University of South Carolina, 0.
0, thank you.
1, go ahead, go to Clemson, 1.
Well, hold on, Buzz. How many Pro Football Hall of Famers has Clemson produced?
1, Brian Dawkins.
Brian Dawkins, great player. Finally, how many Pro Football Hall of Famers has the South Carolina State produced?
4.
So, Harry Carson, Deacon Jones, and Marion Motley, and Donnie Shell.
Yes, sir.
Maybe one day Darius Leonard. We'll have to see.
That's the plan. That's the ultimate goal right there.
That's what I like. All right, that's what I call looking forward to the future. All right, we'll be right back to look how the HBCU star cashed in the chip on his shoulder to become a dominant defensive force in the NFL.
Welcome back to Game Time with Boomer Esiason.
Welcome back, everyone. As we continue with Darius Leonard, we've talked about many of his past trials and tribulations. However, as he himself says, pressure bursts pipes or makes diamonds. And I couldn't agree with you more. You invited your family and friends to the 2018 NFL Draft Watch Party in Myrtle Beach. So what was it like when you got a call from Colts GM Chris Ballard?
Oh, man, it was amazing. But the crazy part is, though, I wasn't even watching the draft because my agent called me and he was like, these are the teams that we think that Mike can take you. And it was way later in the draft, so I'm not even about to watch it because I know me. I'm going to get frustrated when my name's not called. So I said, I'm out. So I was just standing there. I just brought groceries back in, and I was watching everybody play cards. And my watch vibrated. And I looked down, it was a 317 number in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And then on the phone was Chris Ballard, and then, it didn't hit me until after my name got called, because, you know, that's the dream. Not the call, but your name to get called. And that's when all the emotions and everything hit. And, you know, for me, I was just so happy that all my hard work and everything was paying off. And everything I thought about was my struggle. You know, my mom struggling, my sister, my whole family struggling. It was like, this is my opportunity to help my family and help my community. And then, you know, it gets emotional when you think about, you know, my brother not being there with me in the flesh. And because that's what we talked about ever since we was a kid. So, you know, those emotions there, and, you know, just seeing my mom smile the way that she did, and that really, you know, that touched me, because my mom been through so much, and there's not too many times where I've seen her smile as big as she did. And I said, you know what? I want to make sure that my mom have the life that she deserves, but not the life that she won't. And that's when I say, I got to go in here, and I got to make sure that I stay on top of my job, because I want to make sure that mama's always happy and never wanting for anything.
You know, it's amazing, Darius. I told you this off air. I'm going to tell you on the air anyway. That draft day, my college roommate, Frank Riker, head coach, sent me a text. He goes, wait till you see our second-round pick. Man, we were so lucky to get him. And at the same time that he's doing that, Bleacher Report said, you were the worst pick. I mean, does that still bother you?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah, because for one, I felt like, you know, it was disrespectful at the time, because I think I was judged off where I went and not who I was as a person or a player. And I felt like, you know, my athletic ability, that I could stand beside, you know, any other linebacker that was going on in the draft. And for them to not know me as a player or as a person to say that, you know, it hurt. And it just really wanted me to lock in and say, you know, let's prove them wrong. Let's prove them that they don't understand ball as well as they know ball. And that was just my mentality was, let me screenshot it, put it on my front screen of my phone, so every day that I wake up, I see it. And it's a daily reminder that I cannot get complacent or be happy with a little bit of success. I got to make sure that I keep grinding, because I just want to be the best each and every year. And if I'm continue to be the best, they can continue to look crazy for making that statement.
The Indianapolis Colts were featured in the first ever in-season series of Hard Knocks. We talked about that earlier. They gave HBO viewers a unique opportunity to meet Darius Leonard, the tough team leader and the tender family man. So now you've said that Kayla has been with you through thick and thin, that's your wife. What did you mean by that, and how did you propose to her?
Ah, man, see, I met my wife in kindergarten. We had the same kindergarten class, so we grew up together. Like my grandmother and her dad was like, you know, that was basically her grandmother type thing. And, you know, we started, I asked her out in 6th grade, and she turned me down. And then she came crawling back in 11th grade. she came crawling back. But when I say that she's been through the thick and thin, and what I'm talking about is, you know, when I lost my brother, and, you know, she's been there all the way through that and making sure my mental was okay. And then when we were going through college, she made sure that I had everything that I needed. And, you know, once she graduated and she started her job, it was more so, hey, whatever you need, I got you. You don't have to ask your mom or ask anybody else for anything else. Just know that I got your back. And, you know, I proposed to her November the 11th, 2017, my last game in Oliver C. Dawson. Right after the game, you know, proposing to her was one of the best things that I possibly could have done, because it was more so not even just, you know, doing it for the fame or anything. It was more so me showing everyone that I truly loved my best friend, and she's been everything plus more that I can ask for a wife, and she's been a great mother, and I'm just truly blessed to have her as my wife.
I like to hear that. So how did you feel when you discovered that you accidentally threw your wedding ring away when you tossed your gloves to a fan in the stands after a game?
Oh, man, so when I threw it, I didn't notice it at all. I took a shower, didn't notice it, and then I'm on the way home. I'm driving, and I'm always on Twitter. I'm always trying to figure out, you know, what people will say, what bad comments people say about me. And I look, and it said, Darius Leonard, we have your wedding band. I'm like, oh, man. So at first I immediately hit them up and said, hey, I need my ring. And for two, I made sure that I called my wife, hey, I threw my ring in the stands. That's where it's at. So I had a screenshot and sent it to her. But it was crazy. But ever since then, every time I take my gloves off, I make sure I take the look down before I throw them in the stands.
Well, Darius, listen, man, don't ever change, man. You got a story to tell. Keep telling it. You're an inspiration for so many people that may not be doing so well right now, and I just hope that your success continues for you and the Colts, and of course my college roommate, your head coach Frank Reich. Our thanks to Darius Leonard for joining us today, and to all of you out there for watching. I'm Boomer Esiason. I'll see you again real soon right here on Gametime. Man, you are Mr. Energy. I love it. Man, I wish you was on my team. I didn't have to be all the energy all the time.
You should see me at 5 o'clock in the morning.
You should see me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Not nearly as energized as you are, I can tell you that.
I love it.